I asked a question for you. If I came up to you, I give you $10 million, tell me how you would go about doing this. And you were about to get into it, and then you're going to tell me all this other stuff, right? Let's stick to that question, okay? If I wanted to do this inside job, the 85 elevator workers, 9 months prior to that, they took it away from Otis and went to Ace. Fine. It went from public to private. Fine. Silverstein buys it in June. Fine. He buys terrorist insurance in June. Great. This is very, very concerning, all these things adding up. How many people who are doing the job to set up the explosive in the corner would be sitting there saying, the hell am I doing? Okay? What am I really doing? Why am I doing this? Okay? And how much would I do that for, knowing I'm setting up the place to come down? How many total people, if they really wanted to do this is my number one question. How many total people who really wanted to, who are totally open to doing this, how many would need to know when they're sitting, because the people that actually were involved, these elevator workers, they're sitting there watching this saying, holy shit, I'm a part of that. I contributed to that. Mm-hmm. How many total people would that need to be to accomplish this Mission Impossible mission that we have here? How many?
Fair question. This is not my area of expertise. I'm an architect.
Give me a high-low.
It would take dozens of people.
Can we say 100?
I don't know. Probably not. But they had 9 months to work on it undercover. They were moving tenants in and around the World Trade Center towers.
Okay.
The black operations like this are highly compartmentalized. The vice president didn't even know about the Manhattan Project. People didn't know that the Joint Chiefs of Staff were planning a false flag operation against Cuba, where they were going to blow up a plane full of college students. They brought that to Kennedy. He said no. This was only declassified much, much later. There are things we don't know about our government.
Operation Northwood, we can't get into that.
You're talking about their conscience, these people who set explosives.
No, it's not what I'm asking. I don't even want it to go into conscience yet. I'm asking you a very technical question. If this is your world you're in, you're an architect, 30 plus years, you started an organization that's now got 3,000 plus architects and engineers, you're the founder and CEO that later on you were fired because of Spike Lee, who, the PR came in and said, we can have a guy like this. They removed you from the documentary, they cut you out, et cetera, et cetera. Fine. So this is your world, okay? My world is a different world. You can ask me about my world. I'll give you my expertise counsel to you, right? But I'm here having you because you're the expert. I'm not the expert on this topic, right? Realistically, if we had 9 months, we got 6 months. How many total people? You said dozens. Can we say 50?
Okay.
Okay, let's just say 50. Let's play with that. 50 people. Yeah. So these 50 people, wherever they were, when they saw it go down, they're going to be sitting there guilty. They're going to read the stories of kids who are now fatherless on the cover of People magazine. They're going to see wives crying, mothers crying, fathers crying, co-workers crying, seeing the country that gave them all their freedoms in shambles. We look like idiots. We look like morons. You can't be that evil. You have to now go to fight this. The only way you can fight yourself, your conscience with something like this, is probably drinking. You're probably going to be doing drugs. You're probably going to be smoking weed. You're probably going to be doing some things on the side. I'm actually not being funny. I'm actually being very serious.
You would be full on suicide.
No. What I'm saying to you is when your conscience you're trying to escape. Most people drink alcohol because they feel guilty. They did something. They want to escape a pain that they're so. So now when you drink, what happens? You're sitting at the bar. One of the 50 is sitting at a bar. You say, hey, man, is everything okay, bro? Maybe you should stop drinking, bro. The bartender says, Johnny, that's enough. Maybe you got to go home today, bro. That's enough. What's up? What's going on with you? I can't tell you, bro. I can't tell you. Okay. All right. So he goes home. Out of the 50 men who were involved in something like this, most men are naive, and anything they know, they'll come home and they'll tell their wives. And wives are going to sit there and say, babe, what are you talking about? Babe, I feel guilty, babe. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to tell. Out of those 50 people, let's assume half of them were married. Out of those half that were married, 25 that told their wife something that happened. Say half of them got a divorce. The wife who left them or got a divorce, she has no loyalty to the secrets. She then tells her friends why you got a divorce, and she says, listen, this is what I found out about him. Eventually, this thing's going to leak to the world, because the 50 who know, really, it's really 5,000 people to 50,000 people that have been told this story that know that Johnny told Larry, told Mary, told Jackie, told Billy that the reason why Johnny and Mary didn't work out is because he was working on world. We don't know any of those stories. So did we kill all these people?
Who would they go to? CNN? I mean, CNN and every major media.
No, it's not CNN. Podcasts, shows, articles, magazines, writers, Simon & Schuster, a publisher's going to take it.
You're talking about the crime of the century, which has been covered up from one end to the other.
I have a hard time with that.
And you're also assuming that these people who planted these explosives are like you and me with a conscience.
No, everybody has conscience.
These are cold-hearted
the elevator workers are cold-hearted
but it's not the point.
operators?
But I've met
who
cold-hearted
knows who
people.
was in there. We don't even know if they're Americans.
Yeah.
They may be foreign agents. We don't know what their ideological dedication and devotion is or what their mission is. It's obviously not to help democracy.
I've interviewed 15 CIA agents on the podcast, okay? And, one of the best things that the former chief disguise officer, Jonah Mendes, said, I said, what are the qualities of being a great CIA agent? Charming, charismatic, great salesperson, persuasive, attractive, competitive, only one thing. I said, what's that? When you do save the free world, you don't brag about it to anybody. Okay. Well, every one of the CIA agents that I sit down and talk to, they can't help themselves. Not that they don't say everything. We've had the director of CIA at our office before, 11 years ago. We've had a lot of interesting things that have former director of CIA. We've interviewed former director of CIAs. We've interviewed the former director of Mossad. We've interviewed a lot of interesting people, right? Man can't keep a secret for too long. Man cannot. We don't have that ability long term. We somehow, some way, eventually want to very, 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 very few people know how to do that. And that very, very is not 1%. It's 1% of 1% of 1% of 1%. That's not a lot of people, okay? Somehow, some way, you're going to be feeling guilty about the fact that you're carrying something this heavy and you don't want to go to bed. You don't want to go to your deathbed with that.
Now, you're speculating, and I appreciate it. It's
I am
speculating.
And
it's a good speculation, and I don't disagree with anything that you have said. But I wasn't speculating. I was giving cold hard evidence from U.S. agencies, from video evidence on our documentary, eyewitness testimony, which irrefutably and overwhelmingly proves the explosive demolition of these towers. None of that is impacted by your speculation and your correct speculation that somebody would have talked. I don't know about that. I do know that I've given you evidence that in a court of law would bring the perpetrators to justice for the crime of the century. So, and it's not just me. This evidence has been assembled from the 9/11 Truth Movement research, millions of them all together, screaming from the rooftops, not getting a word in except on C-SPAN, mainstream media, where Washington Journal interviewed me for 45 minutes. Guess what? That video became the most watched video ever on their program, more than Obama and others, which were setting records. And yet they haven't invited me back. So you see, there must be an arm of control over the media that you and I can't even comprehend. And I don't think we can comprehend the control that they can exert over individuals who are told that their children will be murdered if they open their mouth at all.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.